My God. So I sit here with you guys every single week, and we simply discuss, you and I, on how my dress up darling can continue to impress and get better. And at this point, like, we all just simply have to sit here and admit that it is just on that masterpiece level of an anime. Like, this is one of the animes that is going to be well deserving of a rewatch, and a rewatch again during the dubbed, which I have a video coming very soon, which I need to publish. But I have a video coming very soon when I talk about the dubbed. But the dubbed, in a very short order, it's extremely good, so you should watch it. But this is definitely going to be deserving of a rewatch with the dubbed, a rewatch again. And each and every week I sit here and we discuss, like I said, how can this impress us more? How can this anime get better? And each and every freaking week it manages to do that. Like this week's episode, I laughed at least like 8 different times. I have a specific number. I'm a weirdo. I do, we do YouTube videos and stuff. So every time I'm like, I'm like 2. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here like a weirdo, like counting like how many times I laughed, just to kind of like I can have like a reference when I'm talking about it with you guys. And the other piece of it too is like just like this stupid ass smile that is just on my face as I'm watching this anime, because like I'm watching it, especially like the last half, I'm just like like a kid and like just like watching like some kind of like cartoon that I love, just like what's gonna happen next, you know what I mean? And every single week it just continues to just thoroughly impress me, and I'm like, well, how can it one up itself? And I'm talking like, I mean, the narrative, the character development, the creative direction, the way that it kind of has like a very nice flow, and it follows this like very nice path that they've set down, like that it just naturally flows. Like there's never any stop in the, I guess, quote unquote action of the anime, and it's just a perfect, it's just a perfect amalgamation of like this like perfect storytelling that they're trying to do. So this specific episode, episode number 10, this one was called "We've All Got Struggles." It basically split it up into 3 sections, I guess you could say, this week. I mean, the OP didn't start to like the 9-minute mark. I mean, if that tells you anything. So the episode starts off with Juju and her sister, and we pick up last week where they're cosplaying Lobelia, and they're doing all that, and they're in the warehouse, they're taking the pictures, and Juju is having conversations with Gojo. And she's having those conversations, about her sister and how she was handling them well, or how he handled her very well. And she didn't know that Gojo was helping out her sister set up, the cosplay. And she was just extremely excited about the handling of him handling something that's so precious to her. And he was able to handle Inui with a lot of care, right? So that was a really cool moment to see between Gojo and between Juju, right? And as this is happening, Juju is falling deeper and deeper for our boy Gojo, and she already had like this semi crush on him because of his skills and his passion and his methods, and he's not too bad to look at, right? And he's the polar opposite of Juju too, because he's like this 6'2" dude, and she's like this little itty bitty like 4'10" girl or something. So like they're like polar opposites. So typically those types of folks tend to attract as it is. So you have all of this stuff, right? Then they finally take the pictures, and she's low-key kind of like falling for MARIN, as well, too, because MARIN has this passion, and she's happy, and she can't contain her smile, and she's fun to be around, right? And she's like low-key kind of like falling for that as well, in not a romantic sense, but just like in like a friend sense. Like she's a joy to be around. She then spends time at the end, with her sister, and she's reflecting on their day and reflecting on everything. She has a really good conversation. She remembers Gojo's words, and that moment there is super precious too. And again, she's falling deeper into her crush with Gojo, which I definitely wonder how that's going to end up playing out. And then we transition into the scene where you had Gojo explaining what he did for Juju's sister, and Marin getting super duper jealous that she's thinking of Gojo alone with her, and obviously she's curvy and has assets and all this other stuff, so she's extremely worried about the time that she spent with her. She's like, "It was just you two alone?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course it was. Are you okay?" She's like, "Yes." And I like that. It was just hilarious in itself. Then we kind of like we go forward in the future, right? When the OP's done, and we finally see her doing the I think it's Veronica or something like that cosplay with the little teeth and very little up top and very little clothing involved with that cosplay, but they're putting it together. She gets a 10. She goes, she gives 110% in all she does, right? She totally impresses Gojo. They have the shower scene. They share that moment together. And then we end with that montage of her taking Gojo out shopping. And I love, like, there's not in life, in real life, and that's what I love about this anime, right? In real life, you might have somebody who, you can categorize as, people put numbers on everything. So you could have somebody that you categorize as like a 6, very average person, 6 or 7, like an average looking person, but in the eyes of the beholder, right? In the eyes of the person who loves that person, they're a 10, they're a 12, they're on fuego, they're on fire, right? They're the most beautiful or handsome thing that anybody has ever seen in their personal eyes, but bystanders don't quite get that. And that happens a lot in real life, especially when you have a person who is considered worldly or considered collectively like a 10 or close to it, and there was somebody who's not quite right. So you have people who tend to look on those folks as like, what are you doing with them, or vice versa. But obviously the things that make that person on equal footing, people don't tend to see because they're just looking visually. You know what I mean? They don't see the personality, the passion, the drives, the blah blah blah, the things that all stack up to make them a 10 as well. You know what I mean? And that's putting it in very stupid terms, but that's just how the world tends to work. So as they're out here, obviously Mirin's the one in this relationship out of the two. Some could argue that it's not the way. I mean, our boy Gojo, he's 6'2", you know what I mean? He's a unit, you know what I mean? Like he's out there, you know what I mean? So some could consider it that different, but in the context that this anime is trying to convey to us is that she's the 10 and he's the 6 or 7, depending on the day and how he looks, blah blah blah. So they share that whole scene where she's trying to dress him, and she picks a bunch of different outfits for him and stuff, and I love that she's taking the attention to him. They ultimately don't buy anything, but he tries on, I don't know, 8 different outfits or so, and each one she's loving more and more and more and more. She was like, I love this man. And I just wanted a little bit of that, and I think at the end, I wanted just a little bit to blurb out of like, wow, you look hot in that. Just a little bit would have gotten some real fire under his ass, I think. But the fact that those feelings are still there were awesome, and I love to see it. And then we have the end of the episode where, obviously, I thought she was going to go in for a little kiss on the cheek, but she goes in for a whisper of, I'll send you some secret pics of me in the Veronica outfit where Gojo blows up, and you got to blame it on the underboob. So anyways, this episode was fantastic. It was awesome. It was entertaining. And I love to see the relationship grow. I swear, every time I'm trying to keep this review under like south of 10 minutes, like, 6 minutes. And I'm already at 10. So I'm going to end there, guys. But thank you guys for listening to me talk about this episode this week. I appreciate you guys being here every week. You guys are the real ones. I appreciate the love. Let's shout out in the comments below. Let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode. Let me know what the cutest scene was in the episode this week, because there was a lot of extremely, extremely cute scenes. Let me know what your favorite scene was this week. And my friends, I will see you guys next Saturday for my Dress Up Darling Saturdays on episode 11. All right, my friends. Peace out.